I know, I was like, they're not putting...
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for coming today to the Veterans Day Celebration 2021. Nice turnout. Must be nice weather. I know there's a lot of people who have been here before and a lot who have not. So let me start off with, my name is Greg Adamson. 2002, Bud Dillon came to the Bettendorf Park Board and requested land for a memorial for Bettendorf veterans. We looked at several locations and the city gave us this land here, which I think is perfect. We went to the Scott County Regional Authority, got some money to make sure we could fund it. Russell Construction did the plans. Everybody pitched in, the cement companies. If you notice, right in the middle there where that flower pot is a donor stone. And that's people and companies that have donated significantly to the memorial. So this has all been donated, either money or work or material. Had the ribbon cutting in 2003. The initial plan had 5 pillars and 116 names per pillar. So we thought, oh, this will last forever. No, 3 years. It was full. Good problem. So we went back to the Riverboat Authority, other donators, and got a second circle put in. And because it's bigger, we now have enough room for 8 stones. Each one of those stones is about $5,000. So, you know, it's only through the generosity of a lot of people that we're able to do this. So anyway, today we got 7 pillars. We just added 7 names. We do it twice a year, just before Memorial Day, just before Veterans Day. We now have 923. So we do have applications if you are one of your loved ones, friends, whatever. It's a great gift. We can give you an application to get on the memorial. Okay, so that's kind of the history of the memorial. So if you could please stand. Remove your headgear if applicable for an invocation by Deacon Gentleman.
Thank you, Greg. Loving Father, we acknowledge your great sovereignty over all, and with all humility and thanksgiving, we ask your Spirit to lift us up today. May we always be aware of how you have blessed our great nation. Especially this day, help us never take for granted your love and protection. Especially this day, let us pray for those veterans who have given the supreme sacrifice of their lives, for those fallen comrades. May they rest in your presence and find eternal peace. Especially this day, let us bless those veterans, men and women, who live with the scars of war, those with lost limbs, those with post-traumatic stress disorders, those with broken relationships, those unemployed, those suffering with loneliness, and those going homeless. Lord, lift up these gallant warriors, give them the healing they so deserve. Dear Lord, we pray that you bless all veterans, for they all contribute to the common good of all. What a freedom we take for granted today have come at a heavy price. God bless our nations and those veterans, deceased, retired, and those currently serving our country. May God hold each one in the palm of his hand.
Detail, halt, left face, prepare to pose. Pose. Present arms.
Oh, see, can you see gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Veterans Day. What an honor it is to be able to come up here and speak to you. I put together what was called an Honor 13 Ruck, and it was to help raise funds for the 13 fallen service members from Kabul, Afghanistan on August 26th of 2021. And so what we ended up doing is working with a larger organization, and they have raised over $141,000 to split up between these families. Well, I wanted to do something specific to them and for them. So my son, we created a flag that we have hung over there, so please remember to walk over and honor that flag. It says Honor 13 Ruck, and it has the name, rank, and branch of service of all of the members that fell on that day. And so that is what I wanted to do today. I had a 30-pound pack on my back. I'm 50 years old, and the wind was crazy, but it was for them. And that's what I want to do for anybody else of the fallen service members, is to honor them. And so my name's Troy Bevins. I'm the Director of Technology for the Rock Island Milan School District. I'm a Marine veteran. I love the veterans. I love the family because they're a part of this too, because they're behind us and supporting us along the way.
I want to introduce Nadine Larson and her family. Wave. Hello, everybody. Nadine and Ward, her husband, just happened to move into my neighborhood, so I got to know them pretty well. Ward was a Vietnam veteran and unfortunately passed away in January of this year. And so in his memory, the family donated you can see there's 3 POW MIA benches. They donated the bench. There's a plaque underneath. They've landscaped it, and it's just beautiful. So our first speaker is the VVA president, Steve.
On behalf of Vietnam Veterans of America, Chapter 776 of Bettendorf and Scott County, I welcome you and appreciate your being here. It always touches me when I see something like this. And on this beautiful day, I don't want to be negative, but I do remember the scorn that we received 50-some years ago, and I so appreciate this welcoming that we have now. Just a brief. In 2012, President Obama signed the proclamation marking the 50th anniversary of the departure of the last American troops from Vietnam. So March 29th is considered Vietnam Veterans Day. And the Vietnam War is a story of service members of different backgrounds, colors, and creeds who came together to complete a daunting mission. It is a story of Americans from every corner of our nation who left the warmth of family to serve the country they love. It is a story of patriots who braved the line of fire, who cast themselves into harm's way to save a friend, who fought hour after hour, day after day to preserve the liberties we hold dear. More than 58,000 Americans were killed and many thousands more were wounded and injured or determined to be missing. From all wars, we have at least 2,000 POW MIAs who are unaccounted for, and we need to keep diligently searching for those. In one of war's most profound tragedies, many of these men and women came home to be shunned or neglected, to face treatment unbefitting their courage and welcome unworthy of their example. We must never let this happen again. There is a current act in the Senate, a bill in the Senate. It's called the Cost of War Act 2021. It's a long overdue and rightly recognized the effects of toxic chemicals have had on our military personnel and family members. With that, it is highly endorsed by the Vietnam Veterans of America. We are extremely hopeful this act will pass Congress as written. This act involves Agent Orange, which you may all be familiar with, and also the burn pits that were involved, that we were exposed to in Afghanistan and Iraq and other wars. Thailand has now been recognized as a spot of Agent Orange. Guam, Anderson Air Force Base, is considered a toxic waste site, and we just must, what I would ask of you is if you would send a letter, a call, or an email to on the Iowa side, we have Congressman Marionette Miller Meeks and Senators Joni Ernst and Chuck Grassley. And over in Illinois, you have Congressman Sherry Bustos and Senator Dick Durbin, and of course, our veteran, Tammy Duckworth.
Next, ask John Whalen, VFW Commander, for his comments.
Thank you, Greg. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and honored guests and fellow comrades. I want to begin today by expressing my gratitude to everyone for joining us, for allowing me the opportunity to speak to you today. Going all the way back to the American Revolution, for everyone who served, there was no question about what they were fighting for. It was their house, their home, their business, their farm, their village, town, or city. It was for freedom. That freedom has transcended generations, not because it has been guaranteed or has come easy, but because over the years, selfless Americans have continued to stand up, raise their right hand, and commit to ensuring liberty for all. Today, we celebrate the millions of veterans who have ensured our freedom since America's humble beginnings. We celebrate their determination, dedication, and unwavering patriotism. Through war and in times of peace, America's veterans have remained committed to ensuring our great country remains the land of the free, and it is surely the home of the brave. Throughout our history, time and again, our veterans have answered the call to service with resolve and resilience, and we have all reaped the many benefits of their selflessness. For many in our country, today is just another day. They may be at home or work, or out running errands and other things, oblivious to the occasion. But for those of us here today, we know the importance of this day, the importance of honoring the sacrifice of the relative few who afford each and every American the opportunity to live free of tyranny and fear. Since the VFW was founded in 1899, we, through our thousands of posts and millions of members, have worked diligently to turn indifference towards veterans into making a difference for veterans. While we cannot ever fully repay the debt of gratitude we owe this special group of individuals, we start by celebrating them today. We teach our children of their sacrifices. We encourage others to show their support and appreciation at every turn. We work to honor our veterans, not just on Veterans Day, but every single day.
And our next speaker would be Russ Scepter with the American Legion, Commander of the American Legion.
Hi, everybody. I'd like to thank the Patriot Guard Riders and American Legion Riders for the flag line. Very much appreciated. Last night, I sat down and wanted to write some words down just to speak today. And you know, every time you do that, you always want your speech to have long flowing words and some showing of your intelligence. Well, I guarantee you this one has none of that, so we're good. As I was sitting there, I got to thinking about what words to write down. And you know, is no real good words to write down. Every veteran, every soldier, everyone that's put on a military uniform has wrote those words already. They have written a chapter in all of our lives, and there's more chapters being written. Every veteran in here has wrote a chapter, and it's for us to remember that and what they went through. I look at Veterans Day as a time to reflect on what veterans are doing now, what they have done, what they'll do in the future. And I hope you guys do the same thing. Now, it's awesome that we have a Veterans Day so that we can do that and reflect on people. But I will charge you today, each and every one of you, I am not a veteran one day a year. I'm a veteran 24/7 for the rest of my life. I charge you with keeping all the veterans in your minds and your hearts and your prayers. We're very much appreciative. And don't be afraid to talk to us. We'll talk to you. So may not be the smartest thing, but we'll talk to you.
Thank you. It's an honor and privilege to be here representing the city of Bettendorf. And thank you to all of those who work for the city who are here today that Greg got a chance to introduce. Thank you for your service to the city, but thank you for coming here on Veterans Day to remember those who fought for this great nation. Thank you to the Patriot Guard and our friends at the fire department, everybody who came out. But let's give Greg a round of applause for putting together a great event. And the Memorial Committee, thank you for such a great spot that we have here to continue to remember. It's an honor and privilege to be here to introduce to you our keynote speaker, William Albracht. Bill was born and raised in Rock Island. After graduating from Alderman Catholic High School in 1966, he joined the United States Army. Bill attended Infantry Officer Candidate School and was commissioned as a second lieutenant in 1967 at the age of 19. He spent his commissioned career in the United States Special Forces, commonly referred to as Green Berets. At age 21, he was the youngest captain to command combat troops in Vietnam. Bill is a recipient of 3 Silver Stars, 3 Purple Hearts, 5 Bronze Stars, as well as several other awards for combat valor. After the Army, Bill became a special agent in the United States Secret Service. He retired from the Secret Service in 2001 as the Assistant Special Agent in charge of the Secret Service's Washington, D.C. office. Bill then managed Ford Motor Company's executive security operations. In 2005, Bill moved back to the Quad Cities and opened a private security consulting firm. Bill has written a book called Abandoned in Hell, in which he tells the story of his most challenging time in Vietnam. Bill and his wife, Mary Moran, live here in Bettendorf. Together, they have 5 children and 8 grandchildren. Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Albright.
Of course, I have a special place in my heart for my brother Vietnam veterans. In 1970, when I came home, it was a difficult time to be a veteran. As Steve and John mentioned, it was a very difficult time to be a veteran. There were no parades, there were no congratulations, there was nothing of the sort. But we just pursued. We went forward. We knew it was a tough time, and we took it upon ourselves. We gathered ourselves, we hung out with ourselves, and we made each other stronger. And we got through the difficult times together as veterans, as Vietnam veterans. I remember in 1998, I went to a Special Forces reunion down at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. And there was a gentleman there at one of the functions. His name was Bo Greitz, Colonel Bo Greitz. He was a legend in Special Forces. And I met him as a young captain when I was in the train. And I went to him, I said, Colonel, I said, my name is Bill Albright. I said, I met you in the train, Vietnam, in about 1970. I said, sir, I just wanted to say hi again. Not expecting him, of course, to remember me. And he goes, oh, you were with 5th Group in Special Forces? I said, yeah. In Vietnam? I said, yes, sir. And he shook my hand and he said, welcome home. That was the first time, 1996, anybody had ever said that to me. I didn't know what to say in response, except thank you. And ever since then, I've said that to every Vietnam veteran, and every Vietnam veteran, it certainly wasn't me that started it. That is our communication. We're back and forth with each other. And so to my Vietnam veterans today, gentlemen, welcome home. But I want to tell you a story today, because it is Veterans Day. I want to tell you a story about a particular veteran. As was mentioned, in October, late fall of 1969, I was commander of a fire base. We had a mountain yards, which would have been the equivalent of the American Indians, natives to the Central Highlands of Vietnam, providing security for about a 27-man artillery unit. They, in turn, would supply support for the Special Forces operations and all the other American operations that were going on in the battle area. Very quiet, nothing going on, very quiet. I took command 28 October 1969. That evening, 28 October 1969, we got hit. We got hit, and it never, ever stopped. For 5 days, it rained fire and steel with mortars, rockets, and recoilless rifles, and sometimes artillery on that fire base. But we held on. We had resupply, we had medevacs, we had jets, we had the fast movers, we kept them back. We kept them back and we hung on. And this one, we had our wounded, of course. And on October 30th, Lieutenant Ron Ross with the artillery came in as a replacement for one of the artillery lieutenants who had been wounded. I didn't get to meet with him that day because we were pretty busy, calling in airstrikes and redirecting redeployments, breaches of our perimeter, patching it up, digging deeper in, overhead cover, and so on. But the next day, October 31st, he came over to my bunker. He got over in between rounds that were coming in. And I sat down and I talked to him. And I remember looking at him for the first time. He was a bit older than me, like 2 years. And I remember looking at him and seeing his eyes. His eyes were the bluest eyes I had ever seen. Captivating. And I have seen Frank Sinatra, okay? This guy's eyes were bluer. And we started talking. I explained to him, I said, we're in a very bad situation right now. We have 2 NVA regiments. We've got 150 guys. We've got 2 NVA regiments surrounding us with an artillery unit. We're getting help, but I'm not 100% sure how long we can hold this out, because they're having a very difficult time getting us in resupplies and people. So we talked some more, and I said, hey, where are you from in the world? Where are you from back home? Appleton, Wisconsin. I said, oh my God, it's just up the road from us. Really? Yeah. And we started talking about the Midwest and about Wisconsin, about growing up. And he took off his helmet and he pulled out this picture. And it was a newborn baby. He said, this is a picture of my son. He says, I just got it in the mail about 4 days ago. He says, I haven't seen him yet. I'm leaving here in a few days, going back and going on R&R, meet my wife in Hawaii and get to see my new son. I said, wow, how cool is that? And I'm also thinking, the hell are you doing out here with us? I said, okay, so we're going to run to the comm bunker. We got to send some messages. We got to see what's going on, get a tactical situation. I said, now listen, they have us zeroed in. They have us zeroed in. I'm going to break and run probably from the length of this entire pavilion. Wait till I get there, because they're going to shoot a rocket at me. I can guarantee you they're going to shoot a rocket at me because they can see us. They can look down and see us. Wait until I get there. Got it. And I took off in a dead run. A lot faster back then. And sure enough, over my right shoulder I saw the orange tail of the B-40 rocket coming right at me. But I also heard the footfalls of Ron Ross right behind me. I hit the bunker door. The explosion went off. The concussion, not the shrapnel, blew me in, but it hit Ron. I drug Ron in, and he had a piece of shrapnel right through his carotid artery. I slapped my hand on it. I screamed for some kind of bandage. But there was no use. He bled out in about 30 seconds. I looked into those eyes, and now they were looking at me. The same eyes, except they were vacant, no life. I held him. We put him in a body bag. We zipped it up. And our next medevac that came in, I personally put him on that medevac and got his body out of there. And I told myself, you know what? I'm going to get home. I'm going to go to Appleton, Wisconsin. I'm going to get and see his folks and his wife and tell them I was with him on the day he died and tell them what happened. That's what I'm going to do. The war went on. The battle went on. We ran damn near out of ammo. Certainly almost out of water. We couldn't get support. We had nothing left. I let a break out, and by the hand of God, we were able to break out through enemy lines. Yes, we did encounter them, but we did eventually get to the relative safety of the Special Forces camp. The war went on for me. I went to a different unit and continued on. 1970, I get out, full intentions of going to Appleton, Wisconsin to see his folks. Life got in the way. I had to register for college, I had to get a job, I started a family, things just started getting in the way. And then time to time I would think about it. Then the wall came up, and I went and saw it with my wife Mary. And it was all I could do to keep it together, which I didn't. And I said again, I've got to close this circle. And then, in the writing of this incident, of this battle, what later on became a book, didn't start out that way. In the research, we found his son up near Waterloo, Iowa. He had no idea of anything about his father. His mother and his grandparents were so broken up they never spoke of him. His mother was so distraught. She never spoke of him. She remarried, started a different family, and life went on. Because of the Rock Island Arsenal, the 1st Army, we were able to bring him down here. We had a special ceremony where he was awarded the Purple Heart and a Valor Award for his time on Fire Base K. But prior to that, he sat down in my living room. And I was able to look at him and into his eyes. And my Lord, they were the same blue eyes that I saw October 31st of 1969. I could hardly believe it. And I told him a story about his father. I told him a story that he didn't know. I said, your father was so proud of you. He showed me his photo, your photo. And he relayed how thrilled he was. But unfortunately, your father perished that day. He died. He died in the line of duty for his country. But I want you to know one thing. Although I just met him, and I certainly didn't know him that well, he did die in the arms of a friend. He died in the arms of somebody that cared about him. And we took great pains to make sure that he was handled reverently and sent back home for his final resting place. The circle had been closed. And this is what's happening today as we honor veterans on this Veterans Day, especially with us Vietnam veterans. The circle has been closed. The hard feelings and disrespect we once were given is no more. Now it's respect, and they understand. To quote Ronald Reagan, we served with honor. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for this opportunity, and God bless.